You know, a lot of us are in a situation where we walk around in life with the persistent feeling of just feeling bad about ourselves day in and day out. As you go about your day, as you go about your life, as you interact with people at your job, just in general. And there's some things that I see a lot that that I'm very mindful of in my own life that I just want to bring to your attention. And this won't be for everyone, but there are definitely some ones listening that need to hear this. A lot of why you feel beat down and discontented and stifled is because you're constantly abdicating your judgment making and your autonomy and your ability to constructively think and function to someone else. Like when I'm working, when I work with people, I notice that there's always a 30 percentile of people. So at least two people out of a group that over acquiesce to everyone, to the supervisor, in all situations, in all types of situations. They're constantly apologizing for just doing their job, constantly asking permission to do things. Is it okay to take my break? Is it okay to go to lunch? Should I do this? Is it time to do that? And when I see that, I literally see that on a daily basis. And when I see that, the first thing I think is, why are you, an autonomous person, on top of that, an autonomous adult, constantly asking someone else, and it's usually the same person. It's the same person or the same couple of people. Why are you constantly asking someone else if it's okay to do what you know you need to do? If you know what you need to do, you don't need someone else's input. You don't need someone else to tell you, to affirm to you that it is okay to do what you've already determined you need to do. Not only does that not require someone else's input or permission or whatever you think of it as, but it's actually destructive to your judgment making center for you to need that confirmation before you do something, because then that becomes a crutch, because then that becomes a habit, because then it has become a pattern in your life. The one person you should be abdicating to in that fashion is God, assuming that you're a person with God in your life, with God as your center, with God as your guide. That is the only entity that you should be deferring to in that way. Like it's really mind blowing to me. And it's even deeper than that. It's like people in that situation, a lot of times, they're apologizing for just existing. Apologizing because they had a question. Apologizing because they brought up a point about something that they knew was valid, but because it may have upset or unnerved somebody. I can't even say like upset. It's not upsetting for someone to bring up a topic that they feel is needing of addressing, that they feel is worthy of addressing. That's not upsetting. It may have unnerved someone that they brought up a point or a topic. And so they apologize for just simply speaking, just simply expressing. If you're a person that does any of those things, you are creating an environment, a situation where, number one, you're teaching people how to regard you as someone who should be regretful and repentant and uncomfortable just about existing and about expressing And you're teaching yourself, you're reinforcing, because you've already taught yourself that that is something to apologize for, but you're reinforcing to yourself that there's some guilt you should have or something wrong that you're doing by existing and expressing and by going about your life. Examine that. Examine that and begin to intervene on that pattern. You won't just stop for all time's sake by realizing it today. But if you have this habit pattern, interrupt that. When you have the urge to ask someone, should you do something that you already have established just by asking the question to yourself and to them, that is what you need to do. Instead of reaching out to that person or making that statement, don't. Just have a moment of silence or remind yourself, I am no longer doing this. And that establishes a new pattern. If you genuinely would like input, take it to God, like silently or out loud or with yourself though, address that. And what I do is I say, Holy Spirit, if this is something I should not do, give me a sign in the form of a feeling or a gesture. But the last thing I do is solicit that input from other people, because that other people are not my guide as to how I should live my life moment to moment. Obviously, I seek the input of my partner in life. Obviously, that's a different situation. Don't just run rampant and make all sorts of decisions without input from your husband or your wife or the person in your life, the partner in your life. Don't do that. But just in work situations and in situations with people who you have relationships with, it is such a stifling thing and a situation where you teach people how to treat you and teach people how to regard you. And I think in a lot of moments, we don't realize we're teaching people how to regard us. We're teaching people to have a frame of reference for us, spoken or unspoken. And so when you're conducting yourself in your work life or your family life, and you're having continuous encounters where you feel that you do not have the kind of interactions that are reaffirming, that strengthen your life, that are substantial, that are substantive, that take a tone that is upsetting to you, unnerving to you, there's a reason why. And it's usually us. It's usually not everyone else. If there's a pattern that we're seeing show up in our lives repeatedly, then it's us. I, on the other hand, in workplace situations in particular, and in my family life, I seldom have those kind of interactions because I have shaped how people interact with me. I don't ask anyone, is it okay for me to do this task or this function? Is it okay for me to take a break? Is it okay for me to? No, what I do is I run the agenda I need to run, and I don't ask permission. And I've decided that if someone has something to say about it, they can come to me and do that. I've decided that it's not the worst thing in my life if someone approaches me. I'd rather someone approach me and ask me not to do something for whatever particular reason, or say that they felt that what I did was not in the best interest of the company or them or whatever, than to take the judgment-making authority away from me and abdicate it to someone else so that just in case they don't say something. Guess what? It's not the worst thing that's happened to you if someone gives you some feedback, if someone says something to you. You'll live through it, it'll be fine, and you'll find yourself better off and strengthened by your ability to make decisions for yourself, by you just taking that autonomy and putting it back in your domain where it belongs, with you and God. I'm looking forward to your comments below. Until next time.